So with having a look at the heading of this post, when self-interest protects self and creates consequence for others, one of the first things that came up after I looked at that moment was survival and its relationship to self-interest, where with ducking underneath the web, that was only protecting me, but would have possibly created consequence for another if the spider's web was located somewhere near and the spider got onto the other person, and or it would have disturbed the spider, for example. So it was completely personal survival protection orientated, only protecting me from the web or its possible consequences. It's interesting. The point I'd like to emphasize here is what such tunnel vision self-interest or personal survival does is, not seeing any other solution in that moment but for oneself. I mean, the moment happened so fast, it was like, well, the only solution here is to duck underneath it. This is what our minds with tunnel vision, not taking into consideration the bigger picture, not incorporating all things such as people, space, and time, etc. does. It creates this illusion of there's no other way out, there's no other solution, where the problem-solution relationship existed as it initially did in that moment, because in the mind it was only me in that moment in relationship to the web as the problem, and so the solution that'll come up will only exist within that starting point of there only being me in that moment in relationship to the web. But if I expand the problem, like consider me, the spider, and others walking there, the solution would then change, which it did. It then wasn't the ducking underneath it, it was then slowly disconnecting the web, maintain the spider's web, and ensure others can walk through freely and safely. With Desteni, for example, with the changes we're proposing in the world system or money system, and also one's personal journey in one's own mind or consciousness, and so into one's personal relationships with others. So many cannot fathom the solutions we're proposing because the individual cannot step beyond the self-interest, the personal survival or protection tunnel vision mind, and only thus see problems within a personal closed-minded context. If one's starting point with viewing problems exists as such, one will not be able to see the solutions we're proposing, as we're looking at the problems from the bigger or holistic perspective, incorporating more, if you will, which with expanding the problem also expands the solutions, for example. We often find this in relationships as well, or more often than not, where if there is conflict or disagreements, both tend to only look at the problem within their own personal context, and therefore often cannot see a solution that would be best for both parties. Yet, when shown how to consider both points, expand the problem, understand the problem, through and from that, a solution arises that incorporates both equally as one. So this is all existent as well within the principle of what is best for all. To be able to see what is best for all, one have to understand how the current problems in this world, or relationships, or the mind, all of it is creating consequence. To from there be able to see, from the consequence of the all, to be able to see what would be best for the all. Therefore, I suggest investigating Desteni, the Desteni process, and also the processes we're walking in proposing solutions for the world system or money system through living income guaranteed, for example. Expand oneself to step beyond the tunnel vision self-interest of problems and learn how, through incorporating or considering all factors and equations or more, that we can find solutions to things that would not only assist and support ourselves, but others as well. And starting working together and standing together to establish solutions for the mind, relationships, money, and so the life and living experience on earth. Because We will not be able to change how we live or what we live and who we are within it unless we take responsibility for ourselves and expand that responsibility to others or the world as well. Thank you.